is part 2 of the syllabus review. Trying to create shorter videos. It's not working so far, but this section is going to cover some various policies of the course, so you can look at those. So we concluded last video with discussing the assignments. Now we'll get to some of the major policies. Paper format. All papers will be in MLA formatting. We'll be using the most recent edition, which I think was revised in 2016. I think it's MLA 7. I need to double check with that, but 7th edition. But everything is fairly up to date with that now. So submitting assignments, we'll be using Turnitin through Blackboard to submit most of our assignments and drafts. The assignments will be turned in by a specific due date. No work submitted by email or exclusively in paper will be graded because this is an online class. I don't think that will be a problem for the latter. But do not say, well, I had trouble turning it in. I'm just sending it to you by email as a CYA sort of method, because what happens is I lose emails. I don't lose them, but I forget I get them. So just sending everything to me by email because you can't be bothered to turn it in or whatever isn't going to work, because that creates actually more work on my part, because then I have to upload it to turn it in. So what I want you to do is try to use the Turnitin the best you can. You have to plan and make your time to do that. And if things are not going well, I will then say, well, send it to me by email. But only send it to me by email if I request it. So other things, no exceptions will be made for password errors or personal computer problems. It's better to submit underprepared piece of writing and have the opportunity to revise than submit nothing. So if you are crunched for time or you put something off or procrastinated too much, it's better to turn in an incomplete paper that is really bad and will get an F, as opposed to not turning in anything at all. And I'll explain that later because I have a revision policy. Grading, to help you out with grading and develop your writing and critical skills, you'll receive credit for all the work if it meets the minimum assignment requirements, that sort of thing. Major assignments requiring multiple drafts, please adhere to the following things. So we're going to do some pre-writing, drafting, revision, conferencing, and workshop. These are kind of hard to do sometimes in an online class because I can't sit down with you and just look at what you're working on. But I'm trying to do some check-in periods throughout the course with discussion boards and journals. That will be our pre-writing and drafting. When we revise, if you have a revision assignment, I do want you to include a reflection on that. We will be doing some conferencing or workshops. Mainly, this will consist of peer review and turn it in. What'll happen is that I'll read through various drafts and provide some feedback, and then rather than conferencing, you'll be reading the feedback. I will have to try to find a way for this to work for you, but we can always meet through a web conference or a phone call during office hours. Late work. Policy on late work. All work needs to be submitted on time. No late discussion board posts or summaries will be accepted, mainly because it's not fair if I just grade things that you turn in whenever you feel like it. It creates extra work for me because I have to keep trying to find out, okay, well, who's doing this and organize things. So just if it's not in by the due date, it gets a 0. You can miss some assignments. It's not going to affect your grade too much. Journals and assignments listed under the essay assignments and descriptions have a 24-hour grace period. This does not count for drafts. Drafts need to be turned in on time so we can do the peer review. That will be done through Turnitin. Only final versions. You'll be able to submit one late assignment through late submissions. I think I'm gonna delete this. I'm sorry. We're not gonna do this because we just don't have the time. 24 hours grace period should be sufficient. All work not submitted within 24 hours of the due date will receive a 0. We'll be doing peer review. It's going to be scheduled through Turnitin as part of, and it'll be part, and those will be graded. I'm sorry. So let me revise that as well. Peer review will be conducted through Turnitin. What happens with Turnitin is that you submit a draft online through Turnitin, and then um, it'll be what's called peer mark, and you'll have a certain amount of time to go through and provide comments. There'll be a rubric and questions to answer, and you'll be able to see those various comments. So that's why timely nature of submitting your drafts is important. We'll explain that as we go along. Revision policy. If your paper sucks, I'll allow you to revise it. Of course, this will apply to the major writing assignments like the book review and your overall paper. We will be constrained by time for the overall paper, but you will get to revise that. Revision is a major part of writing. Just because you turned it in doesn't mean it's the best work. So work that receives an 85% or lower can be revised. There'll be deadlines for that. I'll post those in there. Depends on just how we do. You have to go beyond the revisions that I mark, or revising things that I mark on my comments. So if I just make grammar comments to the first page and say, okay, well, now identify the rest in your paper, and you don't do that, well, it's a waste of time. The idea is that revision is work. You should be going through your paper and trying to make it better, rewriting phrases, reorganizing, restating things. That's very important, rather than just editing. Editing is looking at superficial things like grammar, word choice, and spelling and things like that. You will need to include a 250-word reflection on your grade and explanation of the revisions for your revised paper. Other policies, I will remind this, save your work in more than one place. It happens every semester. Somebody's computer crashes, they get a new computer, and they lose all their work. Save something. Now, I say your hard drive, which happens, right? Or a memory stick, a flash drive, or burn it to a CD. Nobody uses CDs anymore, but save it to the cloud. Save it somewhere multiple times throughout the semester so you do not lose it and have to start over. Attendance for an online class, you're going to need to sign in several times a week. This is not a course where you can just check in like 2 or 3 times a semester and get all your work done and say, okay, I don't have to do anything now. This is going to be treated like a regular class aside from regular meeting times. So there'll be regular due dates, regular things like that. I can't think of other examples, I'm sorry. But I'll be posting assignments regularly. I usually try to post assignments the week before they are due. This is not a course where you work ahead and get everything done and just sit on your laurels for a while and then scramble to get everything done. I don't like that. I think it's not within the spirit of the course. It doesn't work well for students because it's easy to forget. And it doesn't allow for growth. We grow through regular intervals of exercise. Contacting me. I'll check emails several times throughout the day. I get notifications. You probably just heard my computer go off. And I usually respond within 12 hours. If I don't respond within 12 hours, please contact me again, because what happened is that maybe I saw it on my phone while I was walking between classes or something, and then it was marked as read, so I didn't get the chance to respond. Any email sent after 9 p.m. may not be read until the next morning. If it's an urgent situation, please call me or text me. I say no later than 10 p.m., but sometimes I will answer. If I don't answer, which I won't answer your phone or phone call, just leave a message and I'll call you back. I will be available for Skype conferences or FaceTime or whatever. So let me know. There'll be scheduled times where I'm available through video conference. We will do this through Blackboard, through their Collaborate. I will post those every week. I'll try to make them at different times, so if you do want to talk to me, you're welcome to do so. Some other things, I will probably be breaking this up into smaller groups for discussion boards and peer review and things like that, because it'll be easier. So a few other things. Etiquette. We're going to be communicating a lot through each other, so please be respectful of each other's thoughts, opinions, and beliefs. If you do share contact information with other people in the class, please be respectful. Please make it only about course materials and not other things, because we need to make sure that it's appropriate and respecting each other's space. We do have our writing center. There's also e-tutoring, and if you need help with those, you can check those out through the library, and that will be helpful. Disabilities. If you have a disability and need accommodations, please let me know. I'll be doing a lot of videos, but if you have hearing problems and need transcripts, I can start working on those. Most of my lessons I will try to post transcripts. Otherwise, I will just assume that this is going to work well for you. If not, please let me know so I can help you out. Academic integrity, this is the big one. Basically, don't cheat. Cheating involves plagiarism. Plagiarism is defined as some of these 6 things: copying and pasting text from any electronic media website or transcribing text from any printed material, meaning you can't just plug and play someone else's work and say it's yours. Using words, phrases, information, or ideas from any print, electronic, or audiovisual media without proper citation, acknowledgement, or source. So you can't drop in a picture from somewhere and say, oh, well, I took this, or without crediting it. You have to tell us where it came from. Big thing is ideas. People usually think that reporting information from somebody else and not telling us where it came from is okay. It is not. Our ideas are our own, and for someone else to use it without giving credit is a little nerve-wracking, and we shouldn't do that. You wouldn't like it if somebody took your ideas and claimed credit for them or didn't give you credit. So please provide that same respect. If you use passages from other texts and only change a few select words within that passage, that is called patch writing, meaning you take this big paragraph and you just kind of say, oh, I'm going to use a thesaurus and change some things around. If you need more help understanding what patch writing is, we can discuss that. If you submit work that originates from another student, commercial source such as a paper mill, meaning you didn't write it. That's the big thing. You didn't officially create it. That's problematic. And then resubmitting assignment used in another class without the express permission from current and previous instructor, meaning, let's say you did an argument paper like this before in high school. You can't just resubmit it because it violates the intent of the assignment. That's self-plagiarism because you're saying, hey, I wrote this for the course, but you did not write it for this course. You did not write it for me in this situation. You wrote it a year ago and are trying to get away without doing work. And then translating work from one language to another without proper citation. Basically, what happens if there is intentional plagiarism, you fail the course. If it's unintentional, basically because it's some patch writing or a little bit of improper citations, you will probably fail the assignment. So just be aware of that. Technical support, there's going to be times when technology doesn't work that well. Blackboard will be down. You can contact the help desk. Same thing when it comes to logins. Please check your email because login passwords expire and you'll receive email updates about that. So make sure you do that. Expired passwords and things like that are not grounds for late assignments. There's not a good excuse. It's the dog ate my homework. Well, you got to keep up to date with these sort of things, especially for an online class. So this concludes our section on the policies.